Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about my recent journey to Backlash and my overall thoughts on the show. This is the first installment of Alec and Friends Go to Wrestling, Backlash 2018. So we start things off by taking the train into Newark. We get there around 6 o'clock. With a 15-minute walk and waiting through security and to get your tickets scanned, it took till about 6:35 to get to our seats. Our seats were in section 4, row 16. So we kicked things off with Bayley versus Ruby Riott in the kickoff match. And overall in the beginning, it seemed like everyone was behind Bayley with a few Ruby Riott chants popping up here and there. This then led to, by the end of the match, a lot of people cheering for Ruby Riott, and then she got the win. It was an alright kickoff match, the crowd seemed to be into it, and that seemed to be a good way to start it off. Now we move on to our show open.
Bell's Elite Collection Action Figures present WWE.
And this seemed to be a little weird without the pyro. I know they haven't been doing pyro for a long time, but when I went to Raw and SmackDowns after Extreme Rules of 2016 without the pyro, it didn't seem weird. But for the pay-per-views, it seems real weird to start the show without pyro. It seemed like the crowd didn't know what to do. It's like, hey, it's starting, woohoo. Now on to the first match of the show, the opener, and probably everyone's match of the night, where Seth Rollins defended his Intercontinental Championship against The Miz. It seemed to be about a 70-30 cheer to boo ratio for The Miz, but then when Seth Rollins came out, it was 100% cheers. He was really over with the crowd. A loud burn it down broke out. And then this started the match. This match overall had a really hot start, and then Seth Rollins kicking out of multiple skull-crushing finales, selling his knee after he ran it into the post, hitting a huge frog splash from pretty much across the ring. And then hitting the stomp to get the win here. Overall, a really good match, a hot opener. The crowd didn't seem to calm down from it. It was a bunch of cheering, there was no real quiet spots, and a bunch of great maneuvers to start off the show, but boy would it go downhill from here. The second match of the main card was Alexa Bliss trying to recapture her Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax. Overall, a pretty nothing match where really nothing too crazy got the crowd into it. This then led to Nia getting the win and then cutting a weird promo just to work into the Be a Star program quote. The crowd really seemed to be into the promo until they heard Be a Star, and then it was, this is just a slogan pitch, this is essentially a commercial. During the entrances, it seemed like the crowd was into both of these superstars. But then after the match, it was just a big letdown to most. Now on to our third match of the evening, which was our first SmackDown only match, where Jeff Hardy defended his United States Championship against Randy Orton. The crowd seemed to be into this in the beginning, considering Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton are pretty big stars. But as soon as Randy Orton took control and put it into Chinlock City, this crowd started to get restless, with Rusev Day chants breaking out left and right. I feel like this match was a huge disappointment. I thought Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton could have maybe turned back the clock and had a really good match, but I think this match is indicative on Randy Orton. If we just compare the match that Jeff Hardy just had with The Miz this Tuesday on SmackDown, it's a polar opposite difference. And what's the one thing that's not like the other? Randy Orton. Jeff Hardy had a really good match with The Miz on Tuesday, but had a boring match with Randy Orton on Sunday with the pay-per-view. This is when I think the crowd really thought a theme was about to come out where this show was going to be going really, really downhill. Now it was on to the Elias segment of the evening, where Elias came out and attempted to perform, but the crowd would not let him by cheering him to leave. This then led to the New Day coming out, which was a big pop for most people. Then the loudest reaction probably of the evening, where Aiden English came out for the Rusev Day singing. Which then, after Rusev and Aiden English made their entrance, No Way Jose came out after Elias tried to start singing again. He brought out the conga line, which had Titus Worldwide and Breezango in tow. Then he went to take it from the top one last time when Bobby Roode popped out from underneath the ring, hit him with a glorious bomb when his music started playing, and then he joined the conga line in a really weird segment, which if I was at home, I probably would not have liked. In person, it was alright, but then if you look at the timing of this show as we go down the line, I feel like this shouldn't have happened. This seemed to have gone on forever, which then if we look at the end of the show, probably would have helped the crowd reaction towards the end, if this did not take place. This then led into the next match of the evening, something I was really, really looking forward to. Daniel Bryan's singles return to pay-per-view where he took on Big Cass. Overall, a great reaction for when Daniel Bryan came out, a bunch of yes chants all over the place. Yeah!
The following contest is scheduled to one fall. Introducing first from Abilene, Washington, weighing 210 pounds, Daniel
Then when Cass came out, a bunch of boos, and then the match started. During the match, this led to one of the more baffling chants to me in attendance, where the crowd was chanting for "We Want Enzo," where a couple of people, a couple smatterings of "No we don't" chants were popping out. After thinking about this for a decent amount of time, I understand why the crowd was chanting for Enzo. There's really nothing else to chant at Cass. Cass had a short run as a singles superstar before he got hurt, and there was really nothing you could chant at him. Maybe Castle, which then came when he jumped Daniel Bryan after the match after he lost. But when you run out of things to chant at Cass, this is going to happen for most people until he gets more character development. What are you going to chant for? Let's go short guy when he's saying, "Oh, I can take on short guys, tall guys will do everything," or size doesn't matter. I don't know what you would chant at Cass. The Enzo chants didn't make sense to me. I didn't really care for him and thought they were pretty dumb. But after you think about it, there's not much to chant for at Cass to get under his skin. Which led to Daniel Bryan winning, and then he got jumped, which then the crowd started chanting Castle. Overall, I think a letdown, but it was Cass in this match. I think Daniel Bryan matches have a huge upside to people where they think this is going to be one of the greatest things they've ever seen. And I think we have to tone down our expectations, all depending on who Daniel Bryan's opponent is. As we've seen from people like Seth Rollins, he can have really great matches with people, and he can have more than passable matches with people. I feel like this was a very passable match for Daniel Bryan. But overall, I really liked being able to see Daniel Bryan in person wrestle. When I went to Extreme Rules in 2016, if I told my friend, "Hey, we're going to come back here in 2 years and Daniel Bryan's going to have a match," I think he would have thought I was nuts, especially if I said he'd be facing Cass. But overall, every time Daniel Bryan gets in that ring, I get really excited now, even if it's just a nothing match on SmackDown. Now on to our next match, which was our third women's match, our second women's championship match, as Charlotte tried to regain her SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. Overall, a pretty below average Charlotte match, and just a bad match, I think, overall. With a really weird finish where Charlotte went for the backflip and her knee gave out on her, which then led to Carmella kicking her in the knee and then getting the pin. Overall, it was just weird in the crowd. They cared for Charlotte and they cared for Carmella a little bit. But then when this match was going on, it seems like everyone just stopped caring. Now on to our next match, which when it popped up and I knew there was multiple matches, I went, oh damn, here we go. This is going to be a weird finish and something's not going to go right. We're Shinsuke Nakamura. Took on AJ Styles in a no disqualification match for the WWE Championship. The match kicked off with them brawling on the outside, getting tossed into barricades left and right. The crowd was really into this match, thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to get the AJ Shinsuke match that we've all been expecting the past 2 times, and now the 3rd time's going to be a charm. Then during the match, we had our trade of nut shots where Shinsuke hit AJ and then AJ hit Shinsuke. The first thing that set me off thinking, oh, we're going to get a weird finish, is when they both came down from their first nut shots, the ref started counting. The ref was not counting unless someone was out of the ring during all these matches before. They then got back up and started trading shots again, and then they both kicked each other in the nuts again, which then led to the weird finish where neither of them could answer the 10 count. This really soured the crowd with a bunch of boring and bullshit chants going throughout the arena. I feel like WWE has done a bunch of damage with these Shinsuke AJ matches, where every match before we were all excited thinking, okay, here we go, we're going to get our instant classic match between these two. With the first match just setting up the heel turn with Shinsuke doing the low blow, and the second match at the Greatest Royal Rumble just to set up another title match at Backlash. Now with this weird Backlash match, I guess they're going to have some sort of weird stipulation match at Money in the Bank. I feel like this match should have main evented if it wasn't for the weird finish. With the weird finish, I still think it probably should have main evented, considering when we go through all this stuff prior, going, the WWE Championship is the most prestigious title in the WWE, and then there's 2 more matches after it. I believe the crowd is starting to lose hope in these championships. And I feel like the crowd is starting to lose hope in Shinsuke Nakamura vs AJ Styles producing a great match with a good finish. Now we're on to our weird match that probably shouldn't have happened here, where Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley team up to face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The amount this match went was setting nerves throughout the crowd when many people had to catch a train to get back home. When you look down at the clock and see that it's about 10:50, you go, oh no, how long is this show going to go, and are we going to be able to make it home in a reasonable time? Overall, the crowd really liked Braun Strowman, which is completely understandable as he's been a monster throughout the year this year. Bobby Lashley came out with like a hey, that guy's back kind of cheer. The crowd was really into Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens while they were singing along to Sami's theme song. I feel like this crowd would have been more into the match if we didn't know what time it was and all got concerned about their travel home. Overall, this was an alright match. It was just to make Braun and Bobby look like monsters. This crowd seemed to really want Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to win, but then with all the potential travel problems, it seems like everyone just wanted this match to end and get over it so we can get the main event and go home. After this match ended, it seemed like everyone was getting up to leave. There was a family in front of our group that just got up and left. One of their kids was wearing a Shield shirt and didn't really seem to care that they were leaving for a Roman Reigns match. Now I know I hear all over the place that kids really love Roman Reigns, but when you see a kid wearing a Shield shirt, more than likely liking Roman Reigns, not caring that he had to leave because it was about to be 11 o'clock and he probably had to go to school the next day, I feel like this is more indicative to how Roman Reigns is viewed, not by the hardcore fans just booing him all the time, but even that kids aren't putting up a fight with their parents. They're like, come on, let me stay, it's Roman Reigns. They're like, whatever, I'll go home, it's fine, see you later. Now this led to our main event, the Beat the Traffic Tussle, where Samoa Joe took on the Big Red Dog, Roman Reigns. This match started out on fire, where Samoa Joe put Roman Reigns through the announce table on the outside. The crowd was really behind Joe, wanting him to win, and a bunch of boos rained down for Roman Reigns. But then the rest hold started. I feel like there should be an unwritten rule in WWE matches where if you go out after 11 o'clock in a show that's only advertised to be 8 to 11 for the main show, no rest holds. This really sent the crowd into a fit where all these different chants started going, where this is boring, Rusev Day, and then a new one that I don't think we've heard before with the Beat the Traffic chant. One glimpse of hope in this match is when Samoa Joe put Roman Reigns in the Coquina clutch and then had him out, and everyone in the crowd was like, yes, he's out, we're done, we're gonna leave. And then Super Roman woke up and got to the ropes. This set me off with a bunch of attendance.
He's done! What the hell?
This is where Beat the Traffic got its origin story and started being rained down from the seats in the Prudential Center. This led to Roman hitting the spear, getting the win, boos raining down, and people running for the exits, noticing, hey, we gotta catch our train. This was a problem for me, as my train was going to leave at 11:38. Roman got his pinfall at 11:26, leaving people 12 minutes to catch a train or stay 2 extra hours in Newark. I don't know if many people have been to Newark, but the train station isn't the most magical place on earth. It smells like piss and sadness in there. This was one of the easiest events to leave. It seems like everyone was running out of there like there was a scare or something. I feel like this match would have been viewed a lot better if it wasn't the main event and if it didn't go into overtime, which then people had to contemplate pouring out and leaving after they spent hundreds of dollars on tickets, or staying and waiting 2 extra hours in Newark. Overall, I feel like this was a bad show to watch at home and to watch this overall. But to be there in person at a WWE event is a pretty fun time, no matter how bad the show is, I think. A comparison I make is to Extreme Rules 2016, since this was in the same building around the same time. That's a 2-year difference. If we just look at that show, we had both great Intercontinental Championship matches in both shows, where we had a fatal 4-way with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and The Miz, and we had a great match with Seth Rollins and The Miz this time. But then the main event is where I see a big disparity here. We didn't have the time problems at Extreme Rules, where it was real easy and we didn't have to wait for a train and didn't have to run. We got there with time to spare. The main event at Extreme Rules was AJ Styles going against Roman Reigns in an Extreme Rules match for the WWE Championship. But this time it was just Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns with really nothing on the line. Also a huge plus with Extreme Rules 2016 was the big return of Seth Rollins that everyone was waiting months and months and months for. We didn't have any returns, which I guess a lot of people are away from injury, even though people are saying Jason Jordan's fine, but I don't think the crowd would really cared for that. Overall, this crowd really wanted something to cheer for, and WWE would just not give it to them. Now, just looking at how Raw went on Monday, what would have been the hurt of having Samoa Joe beating Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns is now in a program with Jinder Mahal. I feel like Joe winning would have sent the crowd home a little happier, even though you had to make a mad dash to the train station. This also would have made Samoa Joe look like one of the favorites to win Money in the Bank, but now with a loss, we don't know if he even has a qualifying match as of right now. My final thought is this the last show in Newark for a very long time? As we know, WrestleMania 35 is going to be in New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, but all the other events will be at the Barclays Center. We did not get any advertisements for the next show at the Prudential Center after the show is over. This makes me think that the WWE will not be back at the Prudential Center for a very, very long time, as they have to contend with hockey and basketball at that arena. Overall, this show had really highs for many people and thought this could be a good show, even though there wasn't much build up considering they had to build to the greatest Royal Rumble. With this most of the time being one of the hotter crowds of the year, where things will just go crazy. If we just look back to Extreme Rules 2016, I don't remember much quiet, except for maybe the Ambrose Asylum match, which people were trying to figure out, but then by the end, woke up and really decided, hey, we're going to cheer in the tax and everything. I feel like this pay-per-view was a very, very, very huge letdown. I feel like next time WWE comes to town, which at this current pace is WrestleMania 35, I don't think people will think much like, oh, we'll go to WrestleMania. But for anything non-WrestleMania or a big show coming to the New Jersey area, I think people have this bad taste in their mouth, and people may be deterred from going to the event. So this was the first installment of Alec and Friends Go to Wrestling, Backlash 2018. Leave your thoughts about the Backlash show in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.